Yeah, so hello everybody. Great to be back. Can I have my slides, please? Can I have your phones, please? Can you take picture of this? Please.
This is live. Now everyone is seeing it.
Yeah, please, picture this. So this is my Aadhaar. This is my Aadhaar in my country. So I'm not Indian, I'm Estonian, but this is my Aadhaar. This is me as a person. It's a picture, some titles, nothing more. As you see, I'm not ashamed of my Aadhaar. And I'm willing to share it with all of you. And if you take pictures, and if you can harm me just knowing my Aadhaar, there is something wrong with the Aadhaar. And this needs to be corrected or like put in place in the right way. But we shouldn't be ashamed of our Aadhaars because Aadhaar is nothing else than a digital name. And if you're not ashamed of your name, you shouldn't be ashamed of your Aadhaar. Because I'm an engineer, and in engineering, some things are actually simple. If there is a John Smith in one database, and if there is a John Smith in another database, you can't connect that database, you can't connect those databases just relying on a name, because there are many John Smiths. We have to have unique identifiers. That's the only way to connect data. There is no other way. And if we now say that, okay, we will use it only in certain sectors, let's say in public sector, or we say we only use it in healthcare, then what we're going to do? What we do? We basically limit ourselves how much different data sets we're able to connect. Yes, we can see this, we can see this as a big part of the problem, but also miss a huge innovation. So I come from a small country called Estonia, and we are basically a totally different country compared with India. So it's only 1.3 million people. I mean, like you don't even imagine so small numbers, but they actually exist. At the same time, the country is large. So the country is actually larger than Switzerland or Netherlands, or some states here in India even. So land-wise, we are a big country. And we had a huge trouble. I mean, we have a huge amount of land, but we don't have too many people. So the only model how to govern this country was to push people to use internet. Because you can't have a bank office in every small town, or you can't have a government officer in every small village. It's not possible. So there's not enough people to serve other people. I know this is not the case in India, but it was the case in Estonia. So, and that's why we have to push our people to digitalize. And that's why we started to build all this e-Estonia. So becoming an e-country has never been a goal for Estonia. It was just an outcome. Our goal, our pain, was that we had to find a model how to govern effectively this small country. And we found that method, and we found that through digitalization. So in Estonia, like in all North European countries, every person has an Aadhaar. Every person has a unique identifier. It's the same in Finland, it's the same in Sweden, it's the same in Denmark, it's the same in Norway. So in all those countries, there is Aadhaar. The second thing, this Aadhaar is used in the same way in public sector and private sector. It has been used as a digital name because, like, if you want to connect different data sets, that's the only opportunity. So if you look at the architecture of our, let's say, society, it's not only government. It's also private sector. It's energy companies, utilities, it's telcos, banks, all in one ecosystem. This picture looks good because it was made for politicians. The actual picture is this one. So it's, I mean, you shouldn't laugh. I mean, like, it actually shows like that everything is connected. And the power comes from this connectivity. So yes, I mean, if you see a picture like this, you start thinking about Orwell, you start thinking about Big Brother, data protection, privacy issues, etc. I mean, To be honest, 1984 is already here. So it's not something that we can avoid. I mean, just knowing your Google ID, I know way more about you than knowing your Aadhaar. And you are not worried about Google ID. You're not prohibiting using Google ID in private sector. Because if there is no Aadhaar in private sector, there will be Google IDs. There will be different private sector created unique identifiers on which you don't have any control. And which one is actually better? So when I saw the Aadhaar initiative like almost 10 years ago, I was astonished. It was so elegant. It is actually so elegant. The way what you have actually achieved with 1.3 billion people, it's a miracle. And the question was that like somehow your leaders and your engineers only did a part of this occasion. So they enrolled in Aadhaar, but they missed the second part. Because the 1984 will come. It will come anyway. It's a question how the society is embracing the 1984. So there are like different countries doing different methods. Like, so you actually can have one big system that is controlled by one big party. I mean, it's a model. I mean, you see, it's a neighboring country like to this country, but like, so this is a possibility. Or you take the North European approach where you use distributed solution and you use a method where people actually control their data. So, and that was missed when the Aadhaar was initiated in India. So, yes, you might see connectivity as a problem, but it's not. In Estonia, like in other North European countries, we actually know who has accessed our data. So sharing data itself is not the problem. The problem is that you have to know who has collected it, for what purpose, how it was used, and if I don't want to play this game anymore, do I have a right to be forgotten? And now if you hear me, you hear GDPR. And it is GDPR. And I like GDPR, even though I'm an engineer. So here, for example, if I ask from you, how many of you can raise your hand and say you know who has viewed, just viewed, your patient record during last 6 months? Who can say that? Please raise your hand. I see 4 hands. So why you think that being analog, let's say your patient record is on paper, why you think it's more secure? Even everybody nowadays has a phone. Every phone has a camera. Michael Schumacher patient record was leaked. Why? He was in a Swiss hospital. Swiss, something related with security Swiss. So, the Swiss hospital patient record was leaked. Why? Because it was on paper. Everybody can take the pictures and share the pictures. Who took the pictures? So in Estonian case, I can see who has accessed my data. Every doctor can access any patient data. It doesn't matter which hospital I'm going. So who has accessed my data? Why? If I don't recognize a name here, I can run a query. Why? If there is no proper answer, fired. If the information is shared with the third person, jail. Just start packing. It's up to the judge for 3 years or 1 year, but you are going to jail. So that's thing that we have all hospital data connected actually relates with better healthcare, because doctors knowing my whole medical history can provide me with better healthcare, right? And one thing I just need, I need to know if somebody has been sneaky or peeking, something like that. And I can control myself that. So I become my own big brother. I'm actually looking after policemen and the healthcare sector and all the sectors, like how you actually use my data. And if you use this like without my permission or like without like no meaningful reason, I can act against you. And that's how you should embrace the 1984. Another thing, there is debate that is the data a new oil or not. To be honest, I'm in your boat. I think it is a new oil, meaning that data is an asset. I think all agree that. And the question is, like, me as a person, can I sell my assets? If you have an interesting medical history, for example, can you sell your data to Pfizer or Novartis or AstraZeneca? What if they're willing to buy? What if they're willing to pay, let's say, 100 euros or 1,000 euros just to get your genome data and the metadata together with that? And they actually don't care about your Aadhaar, and they don't care about your name. They just need, let's say, a man between 18 and 35 having these kind of conditions. Can you sell that? Yes. And that's why GDPR is so great, because I truly believe that in Europe we quite soon will see a market evolving where people actually can sell the data. The good thing with data compared with oil is that you can sell the same data multiple times. And it can be a huge income to the people who actually suffer at the moment. So, I mean, it actually ability to connect different data sets, ability to understand what are my assets, ability to control that, ability to control the access plus ability to sell that is actually the new future. And there are countries who actually understand that and move towards that, and there are countries who don't. And I'm actually sad that, for example, most of Western European countries are on the negative side. So, in Germany, in UK, in US, Australia, I mean, I can continue with the list. You can't connect data sets between the private sector and public sector because there is no a unique identifier like Aadhaar here. And that's why the Aadhaar was so promising. And I'm still thinking it is, because the court, Supreme Court, is smart, and then it needs some time to understand, like, what are the new rules of the game. But I really suggest that you actually keep it up and running similarly like it was. Because there are new challenges. We all understand that governments and public sector is like slightly slower than private sector. We have seen good use of automation, for example, in car industry or in logistics. So we know that if they actually do technology, if they invest into IT, they become better. I mean, look at them. Look at their like robots in Japan or like automobile industry in Germany, like they're booming because of technology. We know that government basically embraces the same trends, let's say 10 years later. So we see that AI is a good use already in private sector, so we can assume it would be good use also for the government. And there are already a couple of very good examples it actually works. But there's only good use if we can feed the AI with an enormous amount of data. Having AI just on top of government data, not enough, because the world is more complicated. So in 2015, we ran a study in Estonia to understand, can we predict economy? Because in Estonia, we actually know, like here in India, you know which company deals with whom and in which amount. So you have basically pictures about different economical sectors like this. So this is Estonian gas industry. Like we first used them to, close the tax cheating schemes that we had in our society, but we also studied, can we predict the future? And we can. I mean, obviously you have to feed the machine several times to make it more accurate, but you can predict, like, especially areas where there's a huge labor force, like construction, mining, all those areas. So this is an example, but you can do these kind of predictions. I mean, it's an Estonian number, so you get it like in Indian level if you multiply it with 1,000. So what it is, like 3 million jobs in chemical industry lost in East India. Think in this way. What if the machine says 6 months in advance that you have that probability. And then you can decide if you act or don't act. And we ran these studies, and it is possible. And it gets more and more possible. But it's possible only if you can combine the data sets from both sectors, the private sector and the public sector. Or can you do this kind of estimations? And the answer is, also, again, yes. But only yes if you can combine the data sets from healthcare with government, with private sector. Only then you can run this kind of predictions. Are they good? Are they useful? Definitely yes. Will we benefit from that? Yes. I mean, having all your medical history in front of your doctor, is it does it lead to the better healthcare or the worse healthcare? Well, every time you go to the new hospital, you start from the scratch. Have you had measles? Yes. Maybe not. I don't remember. I mean, you're laughing. But why you have to do the same thing again, again? What is the bad thing if the doctor actually sees your data? What if you actually has a chance, like we have in Estonia, that if there is something funky in your medical history, let's say you went to the trip and then you came back and there's something funky in your medical history now, what if you can cover that? I mean, quite often, it's often case, not often case, but one of the cases in Estonia, young ladies, they want to basically hide the fact that they had abortion. Please, it's your data. Hide it. And if you don't want to hide it anymore, reveal it. Hide it, reveal it. You can do that. That's the whole point. It's not just removing the possibility of connectivity. It's actually giving the control to the people. That's what is important. That's what it's all about. And why it's important? Again, okay, here you can't multiply with 1,000, it gets out of hand. But remember, Estonia is a 1.3 million nation. So we want to become great again. And we wanted to become greater before that guy. So, basically want to grow our size 8-9 times. And we soon understood that immigration is not working in Estonia because we live up north and nobody wants to come there. I mean, we are in latitude of Alaska. So, giving more births, also not an option. Even if we go to the all Estonian ladies today and say, okay, let's get the wheels rolling, no, that's not an option. But being digital, having ability, in Estonia all the e-services are actually digitally, private sector and government sector, having ability to serve all Estonians globally. It doesn't matter if you live in Singapore or you live in UK or in India, you can participate in our elections. We have elections. You can do all the services digitally. We understood that why we should offer this kind of services only for Estonians. Why can't we offer those services basically everybody who wants to be part of our society? And to be honest, virtual countries will happen. It will be a true thing. Physical countries remain, so they don't also vanish because somebody has to guard the borders and the legal system, etc. But there will be virtual countries. And there is a huge opportunity for small countries like us. So on one hand, if you don't fix your Aadhaar thing, I'm glad because it gives more opportunities to us. On the other hand, I was the biggest advocate in Europe about India. There are many streams in YouTube where I'm saying that India will bypass UK and Germany during the next 6-7 years. And I said that because I truly believed that the baseline, the basics, engineering basics, was built up in the right way. And I still believe. You just need some time to make the regulations play well together. But just remember, it's not about ability to connect or not to connect. It's about the control. And the data should belong to the person. And the person should have a right to control that. That's my message. Thank you.